Hey everybody, it's REALISM here and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I wanted to do a quick little review of a really cool mental health mod that I found. I've been looking for something like this to kind of add a little bit more realism into my current household gameplay and just like in general for all my Sims, and I wanted to check this one out with you guys. So this is called the Mental Wellness mod by Plumlays. It's been updated fairly recently, I'm pretty sure, so it should not be causing any issues with the new patches and everything. Also keep in mind it does require the XML injector mod, just like a lot of other mods do, but just keep that in mind. You will have to download that as well. In general, it adds certain mental illnesses to your game, such as major depression, generalized anxiety, and ADHD. You can get a diagnosis by calling a psychiatrist. There is also a cheat menu, which is great. I love it when mods have a cheat menu so that you can like toggle things on and off depending on your preferences. So once you call the psychiatrist, you will get an assessment that you have to complete. There is also an option to talk with a therapist. So depending on the diagnosis, your Sim will receive a buff that lasts infinitely. You can remove it with cheats, but basically the buff will be what your Sim was diagnosed with, and this buff will have an effect on your Sim. So the example they gave is major depression, energy will drain faster, and the Sim will require more sleep. With anxiety disorder, they will receive a long-lasting tense buff. They can experience panic attacks or anxiety attacks. You can take anxiety meds, but the meds that you take will have side effects. With depression, the Sim will cry and do all the things these sad Sims will normally do because they're receiving a sad buff that is long-lasting. You can take a depression medication that will give your Sim a happy buff. ADHD, they'll receive a bored buff. They will have periods of hyper focus. They also have BPD, so they'll have numerous random buffs, and PTSD, where they will also receive numerous random buffs like anger, anxiety, sadness, and these Sims are also more prone to nightmares. In addition to the cheats menu, there also is just like a new social mental health menu where you can access the custom socials. All Sims will be able to talk to other Sims about mental health and vent, even if they're not diagnosed with anything. So yeah, it's a really cool little mod that I thought might add some realism into my game. Let's go ahead and jump into the game and check out how it works. We're here with Amina. If you guys remember, I did use her for my custom traits overview. So she does have a few custom traits. So in the phone, there's now a new mental health menu, which is like very obvious. You can't miss it. And you can talk with the psychiatrist and talk with the therapist. So to get diagnosed, we do have to talk with the therapist. That costs us 200 simoleons. Like that is not cheap. So immediately after clicking the option to talk with the psychiatrist, nothing is going to happen. But then you get a separate phone call. So we got a call from Faye Harris. Hello, I'm a psychiatrist and I'll be providing an assessment and a diagnosis for you today. Can you tell me how you've been feeling lately? So we can say I've been feeling sad, anxious, or I feel like I can't focus. Let's say anxious. Is there anything in particular causing this? I would say maybe I don't think anything is triggering it. It seems to come out of nowhere, or I have been feeling stressed out. Let's do this one. I've been feeling stressed out. Any sudden extreme feelings throughout the day, such as a feeling of panic. You can say I get sudden intense fear. My heart starts racing. I feel panicked. I feel scared and it's hard to breathe. I think I'll say my heart starts racing. So we got, it sounds like you might be experiencing panic or anxiety attacks. I'm going to prescribe you with a med that should help your symptoms. I also suggest reaching out to a therapist to help you walk through these feelings. Let's go ahead and say thanks. I will reach out to a therapist. I'm not sure why we have two options here because they're basically the same thing, but that is basically our diagnosis. We got diagnosed with generalized anxiety. And now we have this trait here. Sims with generalized anxiety tend to be more anxious and fearful than other Sims. We also do have the tense buff. It is only a +1 buff, so it's not like too intense, but it does say anxiety disorders are a group of mental health conditions that involve excessive and prolonged anxiety that can interfere with daily life. They can include generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, social anxiety disorder, and specific phobias. Treatment may include therapy, medication, or a combination of both. Also, so now when we click on the sim, we have our mental health menu, and this is how you would take the anxiety medication. You can also access the psychiatrist and therapist stuff here. I want to go ahead and see what it's like to talk with a therapist. So again, when we click the talk with therapist interaction, nothing happened, but now we are getting a call and we can say, I've been feeling sad, anxious, or can't focus. So it's very similar to the assessment, it looks like. Let's go ahead and play along with the anxiety disorder. Have you done any self-care lately? What's self-care? I haven't tried. I have been practicing self-care routinely. How about we say I haven't tried? Exercising, eating healthy, trying relaxing activities, and staying connected are all ways you can practice self-care. Let's say a bubble bath is in my future. Bubble baths are also a great way to practice self-care and love. You've got this. Thank you for helping me talk through this. This talk was much needed. I mean, that didn't really do much, but I think that's a nice little storytelling feature. Like, other than the buff, it didn't do much, but I think in terms of storytelling, it's a really nice feature to be able to talk to a therapist and also to like walk your sim through it so they're not just like going off to a therapist or something. So I do like how interactive this mod is. Some of the other gameplay mods I have reviewed, they are less interactive. So we did get feeling better from talking with a therapist. Amina is feeling better after speaking with the therapist. Sometimes it's nice to just let it all out. As you guys can see, this is like not going anywhere. There's no time limit on it, so it's just like not even depleting. It's just going to be there for good, I guess. So now we also do have a mental health social menu like I showed you guys. So we can talk about mental health here. Let's also see what happens if we vent. Feeling better from talking with a friend. Amina talked with her friend about their mental health and is feeling better about it. She hasn't gotten any other like tense moodlets from her anxiety disorder. Let's see what happens if we take some medication. It said that she took it. I didn't see any animation for it or anything, but we did get that we're dazed from taking the anxiety medication. Oh god. Okay, so she finally got a new moodlet. That took a bit, but she did. And I kind of like that it's kind of hard to see any effects in game because it shows that even though your sim is being diagnosed with something, it's not going to be like a constant thing you have to deal with this mod. We got a moodlet called Career Second Thoughts from Having Anxiety. Did they make the right decision? What could life have been if they chose a different path? These are the things that keep Amina up at night. Now that we do have a specific moodlet about it, I want to see what happens if we take the medication. As you guys can see, there's no real animation. You can just see it like happening. Okay, so it immediately got rid of the moodlet and then it made her dazed. So it seems like becoming dazed is just the side effect of the medication. It is very, very expensive though. Like every single time you take it, it is 40 simoleons. Like I mentioned, it is really, really nice that the actual anxiety moodlet that is constant isn't too overpowering. As we see here now, like she doesn't have any good moodlets. It's literally just now she's just gonna be tense until she has like other stuff going on. So yeah, very realistic, and I do appreciate that. Let's go ahead and check out the cheats menu real quick. So if you shift click on the sim, there is now mental health cheats here. We can remove all diagnosis and cheat diagnose certain things. I'm gonna go ahead and remove all diagnosis and see if it like properly gets rid of everything. Okay, nice. Yeah, it worked perfectly. Like we got rid of the trait and the moodlet is completely gone. So that's like wonderful that works well. Now I just want to try potentially if we talk to a psychiatrist again and choose different options. I just want to do it one more time and make sure that like we're not always getting anxiety. So I'm gonna say I've been feeling sad lately. Maybe I should say I've been having a lot of anger issues too. We can say I've been feeling very intense emotions, or I feel like I can't control myself. Let's say I've been feeling very intense emotions. What other types of things have you been noticing? Strong urges or impulses? I'm afraid of being alone. Maybe we should say I'm afraid of being alone. How often? Let's say I experience them daily. They happen so frequently. I need help. Let's say I experience them daily. You met all the criteria as someone who has BPD. Prescribe you a mood stabilizer and refer you to a therapist. I encourage you to speak with a therapist alongside taking medication. Now we can do some research before accepting it or say thank you, I will reach out. Okay, that's interesting. Let me say this. this because I want to see what happens. It looks like we didn't actually get that diagnosis because we said we would do some research before, but now I'm not sure like how to do research and stuff. It's not like a research thing here. I wonder if we have to like talk to the psychiatrist again, but let me go ahead and see what happens if we talk to a therapist. Let's say I've been feeling very sad. Have you done any self-care? We'll say, what's self-care? What are some things I can do? Thanks for the tips. Oh, so this time when we hit thanks for the tips, we got the same. Bubble baths are also a great way. That's funny. I think the therapist talk is much more linear. You're gonna get the same thing, but you do get a moodlet. Like that's the main thing you get. I'm gonna do the psychiatrist one more time and see what happens. I think it's interesting that we were able to just not accept the diagnosis. I don't know how to like do research and then like accept it. Also, I tried to call a psychiatrist and nobody's calling me. Wait, let me try again. I'm like, I have no money, guys. This mod, it's very expensive. In the game, it is very, very expensive. I'm just sitting here fast forwarding and I'm not getting a call. I'm not sure what's going on there. It was working perfectly until just now. The good thing is because the cheats menu is so good, I can go ahead and diagnose. We can add the BPD diagnosis just to see what it would do. Oh, here you go. Oh, never mind. But I went ahead and added the diagnosis through cheats. So we got BPD. We may have intense and unstable relationships, fear abandonment, experience frequent mood swings, and engage in impulsive and self-destructive behaviors. I wonder if because I didn't accept the diagnosis, that's why the psychiatrist wasn't working. I'm gonna try one more time. We got a random bout of sadness from having BPD. Amina is feeling an intense sadness right now. I literally just removed it as well, but now she has +3 sad mood. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that just because I want to try the psychiatrist one more time. There you go. Okay, so I wonder if you click that thing that I'll do some more research before accepting, maybe that glitches out the future psychiatrist call. So I'm thinking that might be the case. Let me just run through this one more time and I'll click like some random ones and see if we get something different. Oh, so now we didn't even get a diagnosis. It just said, I'm going to prescribe you a stimulant to help with symptoms. I'm also suggesting you reach out to a therapist. Oh no, we got diagnosed with ADHD, but it didn't tell us. Okay, so I am noticing a few little glitches with these traits, but in general, I'm pretty happy with it. I think like with the cheats menu and just like cheats in general, there's fairly easy workarounds for the glitches. Like even this one, we figured out she was diagnosed with ADHD like literally a second later, so it's not that big of a deal. And we just got an energy burst and we have the constant board moodlet. So in general, I like this mod. I think I am going to be using it in some of my save files. If you guys know my current household, I recently transformed it into a more consistent LP. Go check out episode 1 of that if you haven't already. I definitely think utilizing this mod in that save will add a lot of depth to the characters, and just in general, if you guys are looking for a way to add some more depth and realism to your Sims, I think this is a really good mod to add. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely comment any thoughts or ideas or opinions down below. I love it when you guys comment and I read all of them, so please do. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, consider joining the channel as a member for some special perks, and I will see you later. Bye guys.